starting this time because I did it last time.
Sweet. I like starting.
I'm going to start off with this.
Okay, everybody, welcome to the Menswear Mindset. I am Lewis, your co-host with my friend Austin. Austin, welcome
Hi.
back. I didn't know what I was going to say there. I was like, awkward pause.
Yeah. Did I go away?
Austin, you there, Austin? Anyways, but today's topic, as always, is probably going to turn into a ramble session, but we're talking about casual clothing. Austin, you want to break that down for everyone listening?
Yeah, so when we were talking about different subjects, because personally, I'm trying to expand my casual, quote unquote, wardrobe a little bit more. Just because I know that for a lot of people, being sartorial all the time can come across as pretty strong. So, if I'm wearing like a suit and a sport coat and a jacket all the time, it can just be kind of strong. And so I wanted to switch that up a little bit. So, for example, today I was wearing it's like a shirt jacket mixed with elements of a blazer. So it's got a shirt collar with a button cuff on the sleeve, but it's got side vents. I think it's like a 5-button front. So like I said, it looks like a shirt, but it's got a breast pocket, ticket pocket, and they're hacking. So it's got an element of
That's really interesting.
Of a jacket. So I'm always in some sort of jacket because one, for the function of it, you can keep your phone, wallet, keys, everything together on your jacket. But I didn't want it to be super dressed up. So instead of doing a shirt, I did a cable neck turtleneck with a pair of khakis and some casual shoes. The reason specifically I did that is because I wanted, like I said, I wanted the elements of tailored clothing, but with the execution of casual wear. So we wanted to kind of talk about our perspectives on what being casual looks like and being casual outside of work. I always recommend for guys to dress up at work and really dress up anytime, but say you're just going to a barbecue or coffee with somebody. You definitely don't want it to be too strong.
Yeah.
But you still want to stay true to yourself. Hopefully that ramble made sense.
Yeah, that made a lot of sense. Now, but when you said about coming off too strong, I think it's a pretty interesting way you put it. Have you ever had any like negative backlash for being too dressed up like all the time by friends, or like has it ever affected you negatively?
What would you define as a negative experience?
Like just people like, oh, there's Austin always showing everyone up, or oh, Austin, expect him to be wearing a suit, when it's like most people are like, I feel bad when I'm around him because I feel like I'm dressed like a slob.
I got you. I mean, I have heard people's comments like that every now and then, like, oh, I feel so bad because I'm not dressed up around you. And what I try to reiterate to my friends is, I'm your friend regardless of how you dress, because I want you to be yourself. This is a part of me and who I am. I'd hope you accept me for that. If you're dressed more casual and that's truly who you are, I'll accept you for that, because I don't need to form you into the type of person that I think you should be, which I've done in the past and just hasn't helped curate positive relationships. So there was one time my cousin was he got married, and we were having it was kind of like a reception, but we were just hanging out. Like that was really it. So we went to my uncle's ranch farmhouse type of thing, and mom's like, this is not a dressed up event. She's like, don't even wear a jacket, like barely even wear a collared shirt. I'm going, okay. So I just wore cotton trousers, a button up shirt, and my cowboy boots. And that was still even kind of like outside of the realm. Like I was still the most
dressed
up person there, even though I wasn't too dressed. Yeah. So, I mean, it wasn't necessarily negative. It was just highly reiterated, like, do not wear a suit, don't wear anything like that. And I mean, it made sense, but it wasn't like, you're going to offend people. It's just, there's no function and there's no point to.
Yeah. What would you be doing it for at that point?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was just curious because I know in the past when I was like, I would go through phases, and I'm the type of person that when I do something, it's like 100% all in, or I'm not doing it at all. And it would definitely be like one of those things like, oh my gosh, here's Lewis, whether it was like my Western phase where I would wear a cowboy hat to everything, or whether it was like my stylish phase. Well, stylish is used loosely in that term, but it was like that phase where it was like, okay, Lewis, you don't need to wear a suit to like every get together, like chillax. Um,
I'm sorry, I'm not dying over here. I promise.
this is a really emotional story.
Was
Was an emotional story. We've lost all emotion, but it's just like there's like for me, it was I don't want people to think that, but then it's also I don't want to care what someone thinks. So it's a weird balance of
yeah.
being appropriate for the situation, but also being yourself.
I would definitely agree with finding that balance, and I'd say that's probably one of the hardest things when being a gentleman who appreciates dressing well and holding himself to a specific standard, because it it can come across as strong, but trying to find that balance of still being appropriate but true to yourself and not pandering to everybody else but still not losing who you are. I mean, that can be a very hard balance. Really, when it comes down to it, I mean, just don't be extreme. I mean, you don't wear a tuxedo to a coffee date,
Yeah.
but you don't wear pajamas to the opera.
Mm.
So, um, and a lot of it is confidence too. I mean, if you are just going to, Taco Bell with your friends and you want to wear a sport coat and a tie and pants, if you wear it confidently and naturally and not like stiff, because people can tell when you're stiff, but if you're just like, I'm wearing clothes, and that's the attitude that you're giving off, that makes people feel more comfortable instead of just like, I'm all prim and proper and I will not be bothered with it. If it's coming
Yeah.
across like that when it's stuffy. So a lot of it comes across as like how you wear it.
It's a good point. It's a good point. Or you just go into the casual world of dressing like we're talking about today. Um, Casual has always been something that I didn't want to like, but I liked it way too much to ever like get rid of it. Um, but I think it's kind of funny how you're trying to like fit casual into your wardrobe while I'm like trying to like scale up to be more dressed up like
Yeah.
all the time. I mean, obviously not all the time because I still enjoy very comfy clothing. Um, but like I'm trying to turn it into my personal brand of like, okay, Lewis is always dressed like to the nines. Like this dude looks sharp. Um, but casual clothing does play a huge role in a personal wardrobe because you do want to be the guy that's well rounded and not just good at just one thing.
Yeah. And I think it was Sven Raphael Schneider from Gentleman's Gazette who was talking about dress codes and how to dress properly to different events. And I think he brought up the topic once about, like dressing for a barbecue. He goes, you don't wear a three-piece to a barbecue. It doesn't make sense. And it almost comes across as rude at that point.
Mm.
And he goes, but there's different ways that you can dress for a barbecue properly. Like wearing a pair of shorts, boat shoes, and maybe a casual long sleeve shirt, Oxford collared shirt, roll the sleeves up, a short sleeve sport shirt, or like a polo. You're still having the dressy elements of it's a collared shirt, nicer shorts, not just, your basketball shorts, just nicer shorts. So you're still taking the elements of who you are and dressed well and dressed properly, but it's still appropriate to the venue and it's not over the top.
Mm. Very true. Very true. What are some items in a casual wardrobe you think that men all men should own? I'm going to branch out that far and say that.
I would definitely say some cotton trousers, as in like a chino style or a pair of cotton dress pants, just because cotton is has a more casual aesthetic, whether it's like there's no crease in the front with a chino or with the crease with a dress trouser. That um, I think that's definitely a given. Um, keep in mind this is coming from somebody who prefers to be a little bit more
Dressed
dressed
up.
up.
Yeah.
Yeah. Uh, some type of jacket. I mean, whether that's like a suede or leather casual jacket, or maybe a soft or unconstructed sport coat with patch pockets, lower patch pockets, or triple patch pockets. That's something that can harken back to casual wear, um, like uh, knit sweaters. Whether that's for example, what I'm wearing here is it's like a Donegal burgundy purple shawl collar cardigan. I've got this gray jersey, hidden button down casual shirt, and then khaki cotton trousers. So this is something I'm just chilling around the house and just relaxing. And I'd put loafers on with this. I think those are also some good elements. A nice pair of loafers.
Mm.
What I would specifically do with the loafers in that situation, I wouldn't do like a regular calfskin, like a smooth calfskin. I'd do some type of exotic, whether that's a bison, peccary, lizard, ostrich. Ostrich is a good option. That's something you can dress up and dress down. If it's just a smooth like calfskin, to me that comes across as like too dressy and too plain. You know, bringing in an exotic or a different type of skin, I think will
Mm.
help just bring another element to your ensemble.
No, that's good. And I think that's one thing that I would agree with wholeheartedly is a nice pair. Like I have a pair of suede loafers that are just normal penny loafers, but they're so cool because they're casual whether you're dressed up, or they're casual when you're actually casual. So like if I wanted to wear them with a pair of jeans and just like a loose fitting top, that would be a
Yeah,
really cool look. So I would definitely say loafers are a must for pretty much all men. Um, and another thing that I'm really big into, and I've said it a few times before, is like shirt jackets. Absolutely love shirt jackets, whether they be denim, whether they be just like a heavy like cotton. Um, I just think
yeah,
for a guy who's trying to be like you can throw those over a t-shirt and it's more dressed up, but it's like super casual, or like how I'll wear it
yeah,
with dress pants and dress shoes, and you just have like a shirt jacket. I just like apps. It's like the painter smock of style. You just like
yeah,
throw it over anything, and it just instantly makes it casual, but also refined in the process.
yeah. There definitely needs to be some element of a jacket,
Yeah.
just because it's functional. It adds another piece. You know, if you're just wearing jeans and t-shirts and pair of like leather boots, I mean that's a cool look. But you add a jacket, and that takes it to another level.
Mm-hmm.
So you can always take it off later, but it just adds something else. You just don't want it to
Yes.
ever look incomplete.
And so many men, when it comes to casual, it's hard to stand out when you're just doing the normal casual because everybody's wearing jeans, everyone's wearing chinos, everyone's wearing a lightweight sweater. Like these are already like really tired ways of like dressing casually. So just finding those few pieces that are like, hey, I'm casual, but I'm still a little bit different. Um, but then you also have your basics. Like I think everyone should have at least one pair of good jeans. Like
Yeah.
that's like a
There,
staple. But how you
and,
style it is where it becomes fun.
and here's a different idea too. I think you can still be casual even when you're in a suit and tie. It's how you execute it. So if it's a fine worsted that's almost got like a little bit of a sheen finish or a smooth finish, that's going to be a lot dressier. So if you have a little bit of a textured finish, whether that's like a hop sack, a linen, flannel, something like that. So bringing in texture and also patterns makes it less dressy. Because if you
Mm,
think about tuxedos and formal wear, the key to formal wear is simplicity. Black or deep navy or deep midnight blue tuxedo, white shirt, black bow tie, and then maybe bringing in a pop of color in the boutonniere and the pocket square. But it's still very simple. If you're in a suit, I mean, I think for example, like a two-piece suit, if you're doing a uh, Prince of Wales checked suit, striped shirt, polka dot tie, or striped tie, or something like that, and then a paisley pocket square, you're bringing in four patterns, so you're still dressed up because you're wearing a suit and tie, but it's not like business formal, if that
yeah,
makes sense.
yeah.
So you can dress down the suit and tie while still being in a suit and tie.
Mm, very true. Very true. Um, what's next? What do we talk about casual clothing wise? How from like a retail side of things, how do
Mm.
you navigate an ever growing casual culture? Like in term like obviously we've talked about like how you can use a casual culture to like inspire people to dress better, but how do you like just embrace it and kind of go with the flow when people are like, I just want a nice pair of jeans. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that really comes down to if it's what's best for the client and they just want a pair of jeans, we're gonna get them a pair of jeans. No
Mm-hmm.
matter what I'm gonna say, they've already made that decision, so I'm not gonna change that. I always recommend bringing in some sharper, some elevated element into the ensemble. If you're wearing a suit, maybe do a softer unconstructed shoulder with patch pockets.
Mm.
You know
Yeah.
that's a way to still wear a suit but be casual. Wear a pair of loafers, and then you're still wearing a suit. You're dressed up, but it's not too strong. Again, you've got to think about where your industry is, what your culture is, what your lifestyle is, and then dress appropriate and accordingly to that. But like I said, I usually recommend, just bringing in some other element to that. If a guy goes, I just don't know how to dress, I want you to tell me, I'm going to give him my opinion on that.
Yeah. I mean, that's really all you can do, really, without being like a pushy person. Is just like serve the customer in the best way possible, but like also be a little bit like firm on what you believe would look good on them and that they really need in their wardrobe. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, for sure.
So as you've developed your casual style, because I feel like you do casual well, and you're talking about expanding your dress wardrobe, if you will. What were some of the steps that you took? What were some of the experiments that you made when you were dressing well? I mean, when you were dressing casually and trying to refine and hone that in.
Um, well, one of the biggest things for me when it comes to casual clothing was it was let's get the fit as perfect as I can. Because, like, if I have a pair of jeans that I'm wearing that don't fit well, it just doesn't fit with the entire aesthetic of being a well rounded dresser. And I think a lot
Yeah.
of people have the tendency to, because it's casual, because maybe they don't spend as much money on it, that it doesn't need to fit as well as experimenting with a lot of high-low fashion, where it's like wearing a jeans with like a blazer and like just a sweater underneath, or throwing loafers on with whatever, like shorts
Yeah.
and a blazer. Like, that's really casual, but it's also pretty cool. Um, so I would say being just experimenting with throwing, like we've been talking about, formal pieces that are casual into the mix, and not just resting on, well, everyone's going to be wearing a graphic T-shirt and bright red shorts to this picnic. I'm just going to wear shorts, sandals, and a T-shirt. Like, try and
Yeah.
push yourself a little bit past, because I think there's like a level where you hit where it's just sloppy. It's not casual, it's sloppy. Um, so kind of pushing that boundary would be the biggest thing that I've tried to do with casual wear.
It's interesting that you had talked about fit and getting the fit done done right. If any of you guys follow me on Instagram, and if you don't, you should, at Gentleman's Avenue. Definitely go check that out.
Yes.
Hashtag shameless. And you should also follow Lewis at Aspiring Gent, right? Or is it Lewis Jeremita?
That is the business podcast page. Aspiring
Right.
Gent is the fashion page.
Yeah, so you should follow Aspiring Gent. So getting back on track, uh, if you see on my Instagram, the majority of the time, I'm dressed in more of a formal manner, and in my formal clothes, when I say formal, I'm talking suits and tailored clothing. I wear more of a full cut, high rise trouser, a little bit more draped in the jacket, a slightly extended shoulder, different things like that. But in my casual wear, I actually experiment with a little bit more of a trimmer
Mm.
fit and a trimmer cut. My pants are a little bit more low rise. My shirts are a little bit more fitted, and my trousers are a little bit more fitted. So I change up the fit just a little bit. Um, I mean, I do have a pair of trousers that I'm getting altered right now. It's like this deep, it's almost like a Nantucket red. It's a high rise pleated trouser. Um, yeah, high-rise pleated trouser. I'm gonna add a cuff on the bottom. And this is something, I mean, I'm still gonna dress up and dress down, but it's got the elements of my dressy wardrobe in my casual wardrobe.
Mm.
So I like to keep it mixed. I'm experimenting with some of my suits with trimming up the pattern just a little bit, but honestly, I like having a mix in both. I mean, the majority of my dressy wardrobe is, more of a full cut, and the majority of my casual clothing is a slimmer cut. But I like having both elements and both aspects of my style.
Exactly. And the other thing too is with casual style is, from what I've noticed, is it's usually a lot less layers. So
Hmm.
having a boxier fit just looks usually bad on people because, like, if you're just wearing a dress shirt that's baggy, like having a dress shirt and a vest and a jacket, or even just like a sweater and a jacket, like those can be boxier. So it is important to have, I think, a bit of a slimmer fit for most guys. Um, but the other cool thing about casual wear is you can really like experiment, like I was saying a little bit ago, because I mean, think about it. When you're dressing casually, you're usually not going to be impressing or trying to impress somebody with a first impression, or really like put your
Yeah,
best foot forward, because you're choosing to wear something casual. So really the only thing you have to lose at that point is just like social status with like your friends and peers. Like, oh, if
yeah,
I wore a floral shirt with like a suit to be casual and then like a pair of sneakers, like, oh, everyone's like, wow, that guy looks like an idiot. But it's not like a group, it's not like a networking event where these are all
yeah.
people I don't know and I'm trying to meet people and they're like, wow, way to be stupid. But you can actually put yourself more out there when you're in casual situations.
And one thing that I wanted to make a comment when you were talking about fit. Well, one specifically, like with cotton, you've got to take the fabric into consideration.
Yes.
A thicker, durable fabric, as in like a tweed, a flannel, a 9 to 10 ounce worsted wool. Those hang and drape better
Mm-hmm.
with full cut. I mean, you can do a slim cut as well, but when it doesn't have a good body and a good depth, it's best to get it slightly more trimmer and more narrow through the aesthetic, because it'll help it hang a little bit better. If it has no body, it's just there. Specifically with cotton, it does the same thing. So that's partially why with my cotton trousers, if I'm doing a cotton suit or something like that, that's going to be a little bit more narrow, just because it doesn't drape as well.
Mm.
Um, and when you're talking about more of a fuller cut, like I said, I just wanted to change the word, instead of like baggy and boxy, to full cut, because it has a different connotation associated with that.
Yeah,
Like I said,
exactly.
that's my perspective on that.
No, and that's a good point, because the way that your fabric drapes is a big part of how you're perceived, like your look is
Yeah,
perceived, your body shape, your proportions, and everything. So, good point, Austin.
thanks. I learned from the best. Hashtag from the inspiring Jen.
Oh wow, big head warning.
Yep.
Not gonna be able to leave my room.
Mm.
Um, what else? What other topic? I feel like we're not as good as rabbit trailing today.
Well, we're a little bit more focused today. We're
Yeah,
trying to get better on that. 2020 is a new a new day, a new year, a new time to be more focused.
it's
It's
our
more
year.
2020 is everyone's year apparently.
No, just ours. This is our
Okay, yeah,
year.
we're
Um,
taking 2020.
2020 is the year of casual dressing. Um,
Menswear mindset takes 2020.
what'd you say?
Menswear mindset takes 2020.
Ooh, your menswear mindset should be 2020 vision.
Absolutely.
So, um, let's talk about made to measure casual wear. We were talking
Okay.
about it a little bit before we got on to the podcast, and you were saying like there's like the sportswear line that's made to measure. Um, do you really think that there's much of a need for that, like when it comes to like jeans and like casual clothing?
Hmm.
And why do you feel that way?
I think the way that we're seeing the trend of the male customer
Hmm.
now is leaning towards individuality and expression, and made to measure allows that. So, you can choose the pattern, the color, the fit. Someone might have the same pattern of sweater of you, but maybe you did a slightly different detail. So yes, it's the same garment, but it's executed a little bit different. So in
Mm.
sportswear, I mean, it's different. It's a foreign concept than what we're used to. But I think there could easily be a niche for it because it's for that client who's going, you know what, I just want something. I want something specific. I want this fit, or I want this, or whatever whatever that may be. You get to choose those aspects. That's why I think made to measure is so great because you get whatever you want. Even if you're
Mm.
doing just a plain simple single-breasted navy suit, you can change the details to make it your version of the navy suit. I mean, every guy needs a classic navy or gray suit, but not every guy needs the exact same one. Everyone can have a slightly different experimentation and execution to make it their own.
Now, do you think in your store particularly, because speaking for my store, I don't think there's a need for made to measure casual sportswear yet. Um,
Yeah,
and maybe I'm wrong. Maybe people like casual. Maybe that's like the rule of the day that everyone's dressing casual, so they would spend more on casual made to measure. But how do you
yeah.
think your store stacks up as like having a dedicated, this is all casual, come get it made to measure? Because I know you guys are a little bit more up that alley.
Well, I think our client is familiar with made to measure now,
Mm,
and I don't. I think it would be a different concept. I don't think it would be a foreign concept. So
gotcha.
I think it would, like I said, it would be different, and it would kind of surprise guys a little bit. But if we say, hey, we can do made to measure with your suits, and we can do made to measure with your sportswear, and so I think it would be different, but it would still be exciting because now you get to design it and get whatever you want, whatever your heart so desires. For
Austin is on
example.
this earth to give you what your heart desires in
I'm
menswear.
just here to spread love, man. Um, for example, like when I heard about made to measure sportswear, my the hardest thing to find nowadays for me is the high rise denim.
Hmm.
I don't own any denim. I don't own any pair of jeans. One, I just haven't really liked the feel, and it just could have been the denim that I've had in the past. Um, But when I heard about made to measure, sportswear, I was thinking, it would be kind of cool to do a high rise trouser, like maybe almost the same rise as my dress trousers, which are like 12 and 3/4, almost 13 inches, because I've got long legs. And so, it'd go up to my navel, and I'm thinking, well, what if I did at least a 12 or 12.5 inch rise on denim, so I could get exactly the rise that I wanted, and do a slightly more narrow through, the thighs, knee, and the leg opening,
Yeah.
where it's still a little bit more modern. I could still wear it with cowboy boots, but dress shoes, and with loafers. But it's still got the elements of my dress clothing executed in a sportswear or a casual manner, a casual way.
You keep using those words. What is sportswear and casual? What's the difference to those to you? Is there a difference?
Well, yeah, they can be interchangeable, but if we're going to separate them, I would say casual is like the execution. I mean, obviously not dressy and less formal, but sportswear is typically going to be more casual. I don't think there's formal sportswear because
Yeah.
sportswear was like back in the day, like people would wear hunting, if they're playing tennis or something like that. Like that's where that term was coined, sportswear.
Gotcha. Yeah, because I mean, obviously that makes sense. Like sportswear, wear things you wear when you play sports. But like, excuse
Like
me.
if you think about it, like tweed jackets used to be considered sportswear
Yeah.
because men would wear them to go hunting, and hunting is considered a sport. Ergo, tweed is sportswear.
How about camo tuxedos? Is that sportswear?
I'm not going to comment on that.
Um. Anyways, but because like in our store, sportswear like is button ups that are just like really outlandish patterns, like really ornate designs and splatters and because it's not something you would really wear to a formal thing, but it's casual, but
Yeah.
it's also like it's like a button up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Um, but I always looked at sportswear as like a little bit more on that a little bit lower on the casual thing than like a standard button up would be. Um,
Yeah.
like in our store, like this shirt, I have a blue like gingham check on, and that would be almost considered like a sports formal shirt for us.
Yeah.
Okay, glad we have identified terms here.
Yeah.
Um,
And one thing I do want to mention as well is the more simple the item, the dressier the item. The
mm,
more pattern, quote unquote, busy, the more casual it is. So I mean, that's why when you see like a Prince of Wales checked suit, or sorry, that's a bad example, like a navy suit, like that's going to be more dressy. But then when you see like a green, red, purple, and blue paisley shirt, you don't think dressy when you think that.
yeah, exactly. I think you gave me the coughs. I don't know. You must have passed that through the screen. Uh,
That's what I'm here for.
really specific question, but it's something
Mm.
that I've seen for a little while, and I'm kind of digging, and it just recently came back up because also in the beginning of February, our store is going to be participating in a fashion show.
Oh, nice.
So we're going to be putting together like two models, three outfits, and it's sportswear, kind of like resort spring summer vibe, which kind of sucks because we don't have any of our like spring summer stuff in, so we're kind of scrambling. But the idea of shorts and jackets, where do you
Okay.
fall on that?
I've seen it done well before. A lot of that, you've got to take design into consideration. So, I mean, you wouldn't just take your suit jacket and wear it with your shorts.
Yeah.
It has to be, I'd say, soft at most, soft shouldered, but do unconstructed, half line, patch pocket, stuff like that. It has to be a shorter length. Um, Typically, a jacket, this is a term I've heard about jackets. A jacket needs to be like a good lawyer, it always needs to cover your butt. So, if say for example, if you've got a long torso, and so you've been getting your jackets, slightly longer, and then you wear it with shorts, and shorts are obviously going to be short, the proportions are going to be off. So
mm.
if you're going to wear a casual jacket like that, the length of the garment needs to be a little shorter to be able to blend properly with that. So I mean, I wouldn't be opposed to trying it myself. With a
Yeah.
soft or unconstructed sport coat, a linen shirt, and then a pair of shorts and some loafers, or God, what is espadrilles, something like that. I think that'd be a great look.
Yeah, because I mean, I know a lot of people in our store are like, ugh, no, never wear that. But there was a picture I saw. It was of Ralph Lauren, and he was playing tennis. So he had like
Mm-hmm.
white tennis sneakers on. He had
Yep.
like tube socks that were like scrunched down to the top of the shoe. He had short, probably only like it was maybe like 9-inch inseam shorts that were like white with pleats, but they were like high
Yep.
waisted and they were like really baggy around the leg. He had just like a white polo on, and then he had this like houndstooth, this brown and black houndstooth blazer over top of that, and then like a green sweater tied around his neck. And it was like, it looked so dysfunctional, but like when he was like standing there just like staring into the camera with his tennis racket in his hand, it was so like freaking stylish. I wanted to like rip the picture out and like grab his outfit and put it on immediately. Um,
I'm going to cut you off real quick.
yeah,
If
go
you
ahead.
ever find a picture, send it to me because I really want to see. I really, really
Let
want
me
to see that.
let me see if I can find it now because I was like, I've been obsessed with this photo.
And
But
and one thing I do want to mention, because you specifically said it's Ralph, and that makes sense because Ralph Lauren did what he wanted, and he wore it easily and naturally. Like you'll see him wear um, a tuxedo jacket with a tuxedo shirt, bow tie, cufflinks, everything, and he'll wear it with a pair of stonewashed denim.
mm,
And that's Ralph.
yeah,
Like
exactly.
that's Ralph Lauren. And so that for me, like I look at that and I'm going, that works. I saw him once wear that outfit and then like mountain climber like boots, like with the really chunky bottom and like a neon lace, I'm like, I don't get what you did there. I don't necessarily agree with that. But if it's just like a pair of like patent or like a nice black shoe or like a velvet loafer or something like that,
Yeah.
I could easily see how that would work. So that's what I absolutely love about Ralph Lauren is that he wore things easily and naturally. Bruce Boyer once said about Fred Astaire, he wore his coat and tails like pajamas and his pajamas like coat and tails.
Oh,
So
but I thought you just warned against that, Austin.
no, I'm saying he wore it like that. He wore it in that manner, like the confidence level. So he wore the really high end formal wear naturally and easy. But then he wore his pajamas in a manner just like, I'm regal. You know, there was that attitude and that confidence of it.
Yeah. That's a pretty cool way of. I mean, I don't see many people in my pajamas that I need to like put on a regal show for, but that's the kind of personality that I would most definitely want to go for. I gotta find this outfit though.
As you're looking that up, I can just vent a little bit on Ralph Lauren.
Yes, go for it.
If you don't know anything about Ralph Lauren, get off the podcast now because we hate you now. I'm just only slightly kidding, but look back at pictures, especially the older pictures of Ralph Lauren, and just look at the way he wore things. Like he's a style icon, even though he wore like only his brand. He wore things well and naturally, and he wore in a way that just seemed easy. I mentioned him a lot on this podcast, and we're going to try to get him on one day. But Ethan Wong is that way too. Like he puts his hands in his pockets. He calls it pocket fisting, and so he'll put his hand in his jacket pockets and just just be relaxed, just hanging, just chilling out, and he makes his clothes look natural and easy and in a non manner, which is how you should be wearing your clothes. You should be utilizing it. There's a lot of people say that, oh, gentleman should never put his hands in his pockets. Oh, okay. I mean, I don't necessarily understand that. I don't know. I've heard that rule before. I'm like, that doesn't make sense. I'm still going to do it. Because when you see that nonchalance, that easy wearing manner, like I think that's the element of a well-dressed man. Because when you look at what they're wearing and they're wearing it natural in a nonchalant manner, that's what makes them look so great.
I agree. I think that's when you really hit your peak of style, is when you can set it and forget it and you just know you look good. And it's like, it is what it is. Like the days where I put an outfit together and I kind of question myself, and then the entire rest of the day I'm like, what is someone thinking? Like, how do I look? Like, this doesn't fit. My collar, like my collar isn't staying up straight. Oh, I hate this. It's like, I hate those days when I'm dressed like that because I know I'm not as confident as I could be.
Well, to that point, people are thinking less about you than you think that they are. So if you think, oh my gosh, they're just staring at me going, oh my gosh, I can't believe he's wearing that. Why would he ever walk outside the house wearing something like that? They're really not doing that. They might just look like, oh, look at that guy. And that's all the time that they gave you. I mean, that could have been twice the amount that they actually gave you, So
that's a good point.
That's why you should really care less about what other people think. Still be appropriate and not offensive to where you're going. But just don't care.
Yeah.
If it makes you happy, wear it. Who cares if they don't like it? They're not the one wearing those clothes.
Well, and also, but part of it is too, is like, I just don't like it, but I put it together and I just like wore it out. And it's like, I just don't like how this looks on me. So like, I'm always fidgeting with something like, oh, how do I get this look like today I wore this sweater and then I wore, for you who are just listening, it's just a gray, like merino wool sweater. And then I wore a very similar gray jacket that had like a yellow to it. And I didn't like how it was so much gray up top, but because I was like rushing out the door, I just kind of threw it on. And like the whole day I was like, do I look good? No, I don't want this. Should I take the jacket off? And then it just came to the point where I was like, you know what? If I'm fidgeting and I'm worrying about it, people will start noticing because all I'm doing is like fixing this and fixing that and taking my jacket off, putting it on. Like that's when people will start to notice. Whereas if you just like,
Yeah.
okay, I look good in my own head sometimes, I'm good.
They're going to read the body language and not actually what you're wearing.
Exactly. Exactly. And a lot of style, that's what it comes down to is like it produces a certain body language that puts off a good impression. It's not always like, should I have worn the blue suit or should I have worn the light gray suit? It's just when you put on something that makes you feel good, you present yourself in a better way.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, that totally makes sense.
How do you feel about the going tieless movement?
I've been thinking about that more and more. I saw a video on Andre Churchwell, and he was talking about the state of men's dress. And he always saw his dad in a coat and tie, and he worked from home, but he always was wearing a shirt and tie and a jacket. And he said, I've started thinking about, how many men's necks are uncovered. He goes, so if I'm going out to dinner, I'm either wearing a necktie or a neckerchief or an ascot. I've always got my neck covered in some sort of manner. I'm going, okay, I'm thinking about that a little bit. And I've even seen him wear something as casual as something like a sweater, like a plain cable knit sweater, cashmere or whatever it may be, and then an ascot with no shirt under it. I'm going, that's a really cool look. And so, I don't think there's anything wrong or offensive. I mean, that's just the way our culture is going. Personally, for me, I try save for what I'm wearing right now because I'm just wearing a button-down collar shirt with a shawl collar cardigan. But I try to have my neck covered, whether that's with a turtleneck, tie, ascot, bow tie, something. Oh, I've got some bow ties, but I don't wear them too often. But I try to have my neck covered. And honestly, I feel better because it's just bringing something else to your expression.
Exactly. I mean, I had some people reach out to me about like being an ambassador for this company. It's called Go Tieless, and it's a dress shirt that doesn't have a top button. It's like you can't button it, so it has to be open. And I was like, that's a pretty cool idea. And I like the guy who like started it, so like I was like, I'll give it a shot. And then it was also the whole like he's the same guy that owns the $1 Million Collar. Have you heard of that product?
Yeah.
And it's like just like having a very straight stand-up placket. And I got some of those to like do a YouTube review on because I'm really interested on like how they work, how they wear, do they even look natural in a shirt?
Yeah.
So it's just like that whole idea of like, since guys are going casual, it's like no more ties. Let's keep it all unbuttoned. Don't even have to worry about it anymore. And I was like, this will be an interesting kind of like journey for my style page to actually like be having something that I would promote for every now and then. I mean, granted that I actually like the product when I get it, but just wanted to get your feedback.
There are some shirts that are like that are already made. So that's not necessarily an original idea from him. It's called the Roma collar. And I believe it comes from the Italian, but it's basically like the fabric starts like under here and then rolls out, and it's just one piece. So it's just it's a one piece collar. So there's no point. Number one, there's no point to put a top button, so they just don't put a top button there. But it's meant to be worn open, more casual. I mean, you can wear a jacket with it, but it's meant to be worn like open and naturally. Like guys wear it with jeans or a pair of linen trousers or shorts or something like that. So I think that has its place, but specifically with those shirts, like they're made to look more casual and more quote unquote sporty.
Gotcha. What did you call the collar?
Roma collar.
Okay.
Roma collar. Roma collar.
Never. I feel like I've seen them, but I've never.
A lot of bespoke shirt makers out of Italy do it. I'm trying to think if there's anybody right now. I can't really think of anything at the moment. Are you finding something?
I am, but they're all like with ties and stuff.
Yeah, I'll see if I can find something and
send that to me because I like that idea. Because I feel like that'd be a really cool piece to like a casual wardrobe.
Yeah, I like that look better with like sport coats and like casual suits and stuff like that. When I say casual suits, like a cotton or a linen.
I think I saw it with Kirby Allison with his hanger project. He had a
Yep.
guy who did a bespoke shirt for him, and I think one of the meetings that he was at, he had like a collar that was like that because there was no top button, and it was just like it was like a really like big collar, but it was just like a nice little swoop, and I thought it was so cool. And now that I have the name
Yeah.
to it, I'm gonna like look into getting one.
Here's a question that just popped into my head. When the term casual suit comes up, do you think that's an oxymoron, or do you think that's a proper term? Like a
No,
casual.
I think it's from what I think of is I think of like your cotton and linens.
Hmm.
To me, it would be like
Yeah,
if I'm just like there's a suit that I would actually wear in a casual setting.
yeah, I would absolutely agree with
Okay. Yeah,
with
because
you on that. I
I don't look at
agree.
the word suit as like a word for formal or casual. It's just the design of the thing that you're wearing is a suit. It's like saying
Yeah,
I have a casual sweater. Well, you can have a formal sweater and a casual sweater, but
yeah.
it's the same thing. Which I need to beef up my casual suit game. Speaking of it, I want to get like one of like the cotton like lighter brown suits, like a chino suit,
Mhm.
just to like throw on when I'm running an errand because I want a suit that I can just throw on when I'm running an errand. Like obviously I can throw on any suit when I'm running an errand, but I want it to look like that nonchalance. Like I said so many times, that's what I'm going for. Is like, hey, yeah, my cotton suit has wrinkles all through it because I didn't get a chance to press it, but I wore it
Yeah.
anyway because I think it looks freaking cool. Um,
I've got a suit coming in. It's from a maker that we have in the store called Jack Victor.
Love it.
And well, it was actually a jacket and it has a matching pair of trousers. So it's not a suit, but I made it a suit. But it's like this beautiful, rich rust and tobacco brown, soft shoulder, notched lapel, triple patch pocket, unlined. And like that's going to be my casual suit. I mean, I'm going to break it up and wear the separates,
Yeah, yeah,
but when it's together, it's meant to be worn casually. Like if I wear a tie with it, it's still meant to have that casual vibe to it.
that's sick. Um,
I'm excited. It should be here within the next couple weeks or months.
Now, as far as like linens and cottons and stuff go, do you ever stray away from them because of how hard they are to like maintain and keep like keep present because like how easily they wrinkle and it's hard to like keep them
That
crisp.
that that's part of the character of it. So, when you wear a pair of jeans that breaks in and it's
Mm-hmm.
got like the whiskering and then maybe a little bit of the fading. I mean, that's not going to be the perfect just stark indigo wash from top to bottom. It's that's part of the character. So a linen suit is going to wrinkle, and that's part of wearing a linen suit. A cotton suit is going to wrinkle. That's
Yeah,
just part of it. You're not
it's the
wearing it
beauty.
in the yeah. It's the beauty of it. So I definitely don't stray away from it. Like I said, I just try to make sure I'm wearing it to the proper place. I mean, I'll still wear it to work, like in the summer. I'll wear it there to um, just kind of show like, hey, I'm wearing a suit, but I'm wearing it in a casual manner. But that's part of the casualness of it. And some
Yeah,
guys are like, oh, I want a linen suit, but it just wrinkles all the time. Yeah, because like if you want a suit that doesn't wrinkle, wear wool, wear a worsted wool.
yeah, and that's where I've been for like the longest time. Is I love the look of it, and I will admit I've been letting people's opinions get the best of me, and I just haven't pulled the trigger. And plus, I just don't have the biggest budget just to just buy whatever suits I want. But my boss, he hates like buying linen suits and people wanting linen suits because of the he's like it always looks like crap when you wear it. It's always wrinkled. There's always like it's bad, and I'm always been like, but that's the cool part about it. Like
Yep.
it's clothing that is acceptable when wrinkled. Like that's so
Yeah.
cool. And he's always been like, well, if you buy linen, you either gotta buy it super like nice or super cheap because there's not enough like in between when it comes to linen. And I was like, well, even if it was super cheap, like again, it's supposed to wrinkle. Like it should look cool. So I think this year, definitely actually after the wedding, I'm gonna try and pull a trigger on. I'd like the brown cotton one first, but some kind of like linen trouser just to like wear around because I want
Yeah.
that kind of look. And there's actually a picture of Daniel Craig when he was in a James Bond movie. That's kind of the inspiration for it. But he was just like he's wearing like this brighter blue shirt with like a navy knit tie, and then like this deep brown, not deep brown, but like medium brown cotton suit. And the suit's wrinkled and doesn't look that great, but it looks
Yeah,
that great.
that's part of the style and the aesthetic of it.
Are you able to look at your Instagram now, or should I show you this picture of Ralph on the camera?
Let's show it to the camera. Let's show it to
Okay.
everybody else.
And then I'll have this like pop up on the screen when we're on YouTube, so you can see it like very crispy. So if you're listening on the podcast, go to YouTube if you want to see this picture. But I don't know if you can see that very well.
Okay, I kind of get the idea.
So like at the bottom, I don't know if that's showing up. He's like got like the sneakers with like the tube socks rolled down, pleated pant, like pleated shorts, and then just the top is just this jacket and green sweater. Like
I love the look. I love it.
and especially like with his white hair, he's like wearing mostly like that's definitely a look I'm gonna rock on some kind of. Good.
I think that's what's so cool about old guys with style is that once they're of a 40, they're like, I don't care. I'm going to wear whatever I want. Try to say something about it.
And
I can whoop your butt up, down, and left and right and whatever. They just don't care. But that's what's cool when you have that element of just like, I don't care. Say what you want to say.
And it starts young because like if you get like there's plenty like I can list a huge name of people that they're old and they don't care. So that means sweatpants and t-shirts. Like
there's a different type of not caring.
Yes.
I would agree with you.
And I think it's the not caring that's the same. It's just you don't know like what not to care about. Like obviously the people that are wearing the sweatpants and the ill-fitted clothing is they don't care. They just want to be comfortable. Where a guy who understands style, they're like, I don't care. I want to wear what looks good. So it's like you've got to cultivate this sense of caring when you're young so that when you're older you can not care properly, if that makes sense.
I've got a client who he's an absolute great guy. He's the only one in his office who like wears a jacket and tie. Like everyone's wearing like polo shirts and pants. Like that's kind of their culture, and he still wears a coat and tie. And he's like, I perform better when I'm dressed this way. So if you want your company to succeed and you want me a part of it, I'm going to wear this. And I think that's so cool. And I could easily see him being one of those guys that once he retires, he's still going to dress the same. You know,
that's awesome.
What it can, and like I said, this is just me, my perspective, but there's some guys who are like, well, I'm retired. I don't need to dress up. Yeah, but now that you're retired, why do you need to look like a slob?
Yeah, exactly.
Of course, no matter what I'm going to say, I mean, it doesn't necessarily matter to you. So you're going to do what you're going to do.
I agree wholeheartedly. Well, I know we're starting to get on a roll, but it is getting late on my end.
Yep.
So we're probably going to wrap this up here. Austin, any last words? Any last words?
Don't kill me. Make sure if you are not following us on Instagram, go find us at the Menswear Mindset, but you can also go to our individual pages. Lewis, what's your Instagram page?
Aspiring_gent. You can find me by just pretty much looking up Aspiring Gent on any social media.
You'll recognize the face.
Yes.
And then you can find me at Gentleman's Avenue. And then I've got it in the link on my bio, so you can go check the page out there. But make sure you're checking us out on YouTube. Like, comment, and subscribe. The reason that we ask for that is that it just really helps with our engagement too. So that way more people can see and more people can discover this. So I know you guys are familiar with how YouTube works. So, we don't want to explain that. You guys are smart people. So we'll leave that up to you. But, if you would help engage with the post or any of the content that we put out, that really does help more people discover and find us.
Yeah, and another thing is in all of the platforms where this is posted, they should all have links to all of our social media channels. So Austin's Facebook, Austin's YouTube, his Instagram, all of my stuff. I put all those in there. Some places might not allow it. Like I think iTunes only has like so many characters, so they might cut it off. But YouTube most definitely has it if you're watching it there, and probably most podcast platforms. So, but yeah, well said, Austin. This was a full, comprehensive talk about casual wear. Hopefully you all learned something. Good night.
As always, thanks for tuning in. Until next time.
feel like we're